This graph shows YouTube searches for the search term Amazon KDP. When we look at how often people search this term on YouTube, something interesting appears. Starting around 2025, the trend clearly begins to decline. And this is not just limited to search trends. If you check large KDP channels with big audiences, you will notice the same pattern. Despite having hundreds of thousands of subscribers, their videos are getting relatively low views. On top of that, I have been hearing from many people that their KDP earnings are lower compared to previous years, myself included. So, if you put all of this together, it's hard to ignore what's happening. This looks like a hype cycle that is starting to fade. But there are always opportunities. The key is that those opportunities might not be in KDP anymore. In this video, I will break down why people are losing interest in KDP and share some ideas that could help you recover what you have lost from KDP.
I found a hidden KDP niche that made me $10,000, and it's way easier than you think.
A lot of people start KDP with $10,000 per month expectations, usually influenced by viral videos. They expect fast and easy results. But when that doesn't happen, most people quit before they even understand how the game actually works. And they stop watching KDP content altogether. KDP is not a quick money scheme. For most people, it takes years. Yes, years to see meaningful results. Now, there is another important point here. If you are a beginner, you should know that the numbers you see on KDP dashboards can be easily manipulated. So you should always be a bit skeptical when watching these videos. I actually showed this in one of my previous videos, but I want to show it again because the more people understand this, the fewer will fall for fake gurus and scams. Let me show you something. This was my real KDP dashboard when I recorded that video. You can see my royalty for that day was around $20 and I sold 12 books. Not amazing, but real. Now watch this. If I right click, inspect the page and go into the code. Right here is where the royalty number is written. It says $20.58. If I change that to $200.58, suddenly it looks much more impressive, right? And if I also change the order count from 12 to 120, now it looks like I'm absolutely crushing it. I could literally record my screen like this and present myself as a successful KDP seller, maybe even start selling a course. So this is why I think a lot of people start with the wrong expectations. They believe these $10,000 per month claims, and when reality doesn't match that, they quickly lose interest in KDP.
How to make coloring books with AI.
Make money with low-content books on Amazon.
This KDP AI method prints money.
I started KDP in 2019. Back then, there were not many channels creating KDP content. It was still a relatively new topic and interest was more organic. As KDP became more popular, the number of content creators naturally increased. I also started this channel in 2022. But after that period, the number of KDP channels grew even more. Competition increased and a lot of repetitive content started to appear. This is actually a natural outcome because there has not been a major change in the KDP workflow in recent years. There are no real new topics anymore, most things have already been said. At this point, creating fresh content becomes increasingly difficult. But to stay visible in the YouTube algorithm, you need to constantly upload videos. This inevitably lowers content quality and also leads to burnout for creators. On the viewer side, people start seeing the same videos over and over again, same methods, same titles, same niches. As a result, it's not surprising that viewers may slowly lose interest in Amazon KDP content for this reason.
If you want to go pro with KDP and take this seriously, you can apply to join our coaching program for $2,000.
Some channels are not really focused on content anymore. Their main focus is building a funnel. The real goal is not to educate, but to convert viewers into course buyers. This is why you often see videos that constantly target new beginners. They repeat the same basic ideas over and over again because the audience is always changing. New people enter the system and the same content gets recycled for them. This is why these channels often have high subscriber counts but because they do not produce deeply valuable or unique content and mostly focus on repetitive beginner targeting, their view counts tend to be low relative to their subscriber numbers. I'm not saying this is wrong, because honestly, it's a very profitable business model, but we can question the ethical side of it, especially when it comes to creating the wrong expectations I mentioned in the first point. I'm not against courses. In some cases, they can save time and give structure. But if you are a complete beginner, you should also understand something important. A lot of information you need is already available in the KDP Help Center, and in many cases, if you ask AI the right questions, you can get even clearer and more practical answers. So before investing heavily into courses, it's worth understanding how much of the value is actually information and how much of it is packaging.
I will be showing you step by step how you could create your very own children's storybook.
Off.
People are now doing something very different compared to the past. Instead of watching long YouTube videos to learn how something is done, they simply ask AI, how do I publish a book on KDP? What niche should I choose? How does keyword research work? And they get an instant answer. This changes everything, because YouTube is no longer the first learning destination. It's becoming more of a validation or entertainment platform rather than a primary education source. In the past, creators could rely on beginners searching YouTube step-by-step tutorials. Now that demand is partially replaced by AI tools that give faster and more direct answers. So even if the content quality stays the same, attention naturally shifts elsewhere.
AI puzzle books killed this niche. Too much supply, no sales anymore.
Over time, the KDP market itself has become much more crowded. There are now a huge number of books published in almost every niche. Whatever category you look at, you will find hundreds or even thousands of similar titles competing for attention. This naturally increased competition, and when competition increases, earnings become harder to sustain, especially for beginners who are entering the market now compared to earlier years. From my own experience, especially after the royalty rate changes, I also started earning less compared to previous years. And I noticed that selling new books has become significantly harder compared to earlier periods. It's not that KDP doesn't work anymore. It still works, but the environment is no longer the same. The easy money era is over. So the question becomes, what should you do now? To be completely honest with you, with the rise of AI, making money from digital products is becoming harder every single year. Whether it's Amazon KDP, Amazon Merch, YouTube or Etsy digital products, the entry barrier is getting lower everywhere. And when the entry barrier goes down, competition goes up. And when competition goes up, margins shrink. There's nothing new I can really add here. And if you're already in these spaces, you probably feel this yourself too. It's just sometimes hard to admit, especially if you invested a lot of time and energy into it. But there's another interesting shift happening at the same time. While interest and profitability in many digital content fields is going down, interest in hard assets like metals has been going in the opposite direction. If you look at the data, for example, over the last year, gold has increased by around 44% and silver by around 140%. So just a simple example, if you had invested $1,000 into gold 1 year ago, it would be roughly around $1,440 today. And if you had invested $1,000 into silver, it would be around $2,400 based on that performance. But here's a clear example for silver. If silver was around $30 1 year ago and at its peak it reached around $110, that means it increased by roughly 3.6 times. So if someone had invested $1,000 when silver was around 30, that investment would have reached approximately $3,600 at the peak level around 110. This also shows how aggressive and volatile silver can be. Of course, this is not financial advice. Trading metals is highly risky, and especially in uncertain times like wars and macroeconomic instability, volatility can be very high. Silver in particular moves aggressively, which is why some people even call it the devil's metal. But the bigger point here is not to tell you what to buy or what to do. It's to zoom out and notice the trend. Digital attention-based income is getting more competitive every year, while traditional hard assets are getting more attention from a different type of capital flow. Maybe instead of only focusing on KDP or similar models, it could also be useful to at least understand financial markets even at a basic level if your goal is to improve your overall income strategy. What do you think about this shift?